Blocking the screen. Sorry about that. I work specifically with state and local governments and politicians on the right, and it's my job to basically make sure people have a best-in-class Facebook performance, answer any questions that you have, and sort of talk about how you can use Facebook for activism and sort of other tools in the space. So we'll start with sort of the big picture of what Facebook looks like, then we'll go into sort of getting started on the platform if you're new to Facebook in the sort of government space. We'll talk about sort of some mechanical tools and tips about how you can use the platform, content strategy for the platform, and then I'll end with some resources and hopefully we'll have a few minutes for Q&A. So the big picture, right? It used to be if you were trying to reach an audience with a specific policy message, you could do it with a well-placed, local newspaper op-ed or a billboard or something like that. But that's just not true anymore, right? The audiences you're trying to reach look a whole lot more like this. It's a sea of smartphones all tuned to social media and changing the way that political and government communication works. And in this new environment, Facebook is a really critical tool for reaching the people that you're trying to communicate with. Stepping back a little bit further, there are 213 million people who are active on Facebook every month. It's a big number. What does it mean? It means that 79% of the internet users here in the US are active on this platform every month. So 8 out of 10 of the people you're trying to reach are on Facebook. And it's not just a lot of people, it's a lot of people spending a lot of time. 1 out of every 5 minutes in desktop and mobile is spent on Facebook, which ends up being about 50 minutes a day on the Facebook family of apps, which here in the US is basically Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. So you've got 8 out of 10 people spending almost an hour a day on this platform. Well, what are all these people spending all this time doing? Well, one of the things they're doing is talking about politics. I think that a little while ago, a couple years ago, we didn't really know if dinner party rules were going to apply to Facebook, right? This is a place where you can talk about politics and religion and hard issues and have debates. Or is this just a place for sort of, photos of your ice cream and your puppies? And for any of you who have a Facebook profile and went through this last election, we're talking about politics on Facebook. Here in the US alone, 128 million people had 8.8 billion with a B interactions about the 2016 election. That number spans the time from when Ted Cruz, who was the first candidate to declared in March of 2015 through election night. 8.8 billion interactions. The US 2016 election was the most discussed topic on Facebook globally in 2016 and 2015. So the political conversation is really happening here. So if you guys want to be influencing that conversation in any way, Facebook is one of the important tools to addressing that. So getting started on the platform. There are kind of 2 ways you can be on Facebook, with a profile or a page. And all of you who are sort of doing political activism work, you guys want to be on Facebook as a page. A page can have an unlimited number of followers. It can run ads. You can see insights about how your content is performing. A page is designed to broadcast a message to a large group of people, whereas a profile is intended to be a private space where you interact with your friends and your family. If you don't have a page right now, or if you've been operating off of a profile and you're interested in moving over to a page, I'll give you an email address at the end, and you can shoot me an email, and we can transfer all of your friends from your profile and make them followers on your page, so you don't lose any of that support you spent some time building up. And the other sort of ground rule thing I want to go over here is how people see content on Facebook. For those of you who post on Facebook to sort of get out a message, this is probably what you see when you go to post, right? You log into Facebook, you're usually on your desktop, you go to your page or your profile, and that's where you post. This is not how the vast majority of people see your content. They see it like this, on mobile and in newsfeed. 90% of discovery on Facebook happens on mobile. People are seeing your content on their phone, on their Facebook mobile app, which means you need to think about posting things that look good on a phone. And as we go through this presentation, you'll see that all of my examples are literally just screenshots from my iPhone because I want you guys to see the content the way the people you're trying to reach see that content. And the other thing is people see your content in newsfeed. Very rarely does someone go onto Facebook, search for the American Conservative Union, click on their page, and start scrolling through their page to see their content. They see it because it pops up in their newsfeed. So we'll also talk about strategies to get into people's newsfeeds later. So tools.
Eva?
Yes.
I'm one of these old-fashioned people, so when you say newsfeed, I'm not even sure what that is.
So newsfeed is what you see when you open your Facebook app and you see all of the stories from your friends and the pages that you follow. That's sort of where you see all of the content. It's the first thing you see when you log into Facebook or when you open your Facebook app. So we're going to talk about comment moderation, civic products, and Facebook Live. So comment moderation. So all of you are active in the political space, and you know that in the political space, sometimes that comment section can get really, really nasty. And so Facebook has developed some tools. I've seen there are trolls, they exist. We know there are trolls, so we've developed some tools to help you deal with trolls. The first thing is, if you're going to moderate your comments at all, right? If you're going to remove things that people say, I suggest telling people up front about that. I would put a policy in the About section of your page saying, this is what we will allow, this is what we won't allow on our page. Once you've done that, Facebook has sort of some teeth that help you back up that policy. So if you go to the settings on any Facebook page, there's a profanity filter that you can toggle on, and if that's on, anyone who posts a swear word in a comment on your Facebook page, that comment will automatically be hidden. Above the profanity filter, there's a page moderation tool. So if you have people who use particularly creative bad language that is not like the garden variety of swear words, you can put any word you want into the page moderation tool, and anytime anyone posts a comment with that word, that comment will also automatically be hidden. So this is just a helpful way to sort of clean up that comment section and make it a place where you feel comfortable engaging in activism and discussion. So civic products. This is brand new. Facebook now has a civic engineering team that is building tools designed to connect people with their elected officials. And this is the flagship tool. This is Facebook Town Hall. So if you guys haven't filled this out, you should pull out your phones, go to your Facebook apps, and fill out Town Hall. You can find it if you go to the little three buttons in the bottom right-hand part of your app. There's a menu that will pop up, and Town Hall is one of those options. You give Facebook your full mailing address, which we will only use for this. We won't use that piece of data for anything else. And we will tell you who represents you down to the state level, and if you live in one of the 250 largest municipalities in the United States, we will tell you who your city councilor members are, who your school board members are, everything down to the local level. We don't have that for everyone yet, but we're working on it. But we do have for everyone your state representatives. So this is a really incredible tool. We're not only telling people who their representatives are, but we're driving them to follow their representatives' pages, right? We want people to be more informed voters, and one of the ways that they're going to be more informed voters is following their representatives for updates on Facebook. These are just some instructions for if any of you hold elected office down to the very local level, you want to make sure that on your Facebook page you're classified as either a politician or a government official, and you want to fill out this political info section of your page. This is where you'll just list the office that you hold. And like I said, we've got this mapped out down to city council level, so even if you hold local office, this is a thing to fill out. This will give us the information that we need to put you into that town hall system and drive your constituents to follow you on the platform. To give you an idea of how this worked, about a month after we launched Town Hall, it created 1 million new connections between people and their representatives, most of those representatives at the state and local level. Right? Most people knew who their U.S. senator was. Almost no one knows who their school board member is. So when they were told who their school board member was, they immediately followed them to get more information.
Hey, Eva?
Yes.
I'm sorry for being so nosy, but I'm paying for this. So what happens when an elected official retires or is retired?
Yes, so part of the system when you sign up for Town Hall and you fill out that political info, part of the of your page is you put in the end date for your term. So for your set of elected term, you put in the end date, which is a way that helps us refresh our data. So we'll send you sort of a notification at that point and say, hey, were you re-elected? Do you need to re-up this? So we constantly have a team checking. When you submit your elected office information, that goes to a set of real people who then confirm that you are in fact the person who holds that office, right? I can't just sit there, fill it out, and say that I am a senator for the 18th district in Illinois and pretend that that's me. There's a person who would look and see that that is in fact not my job, and then I wouldn't get to put that title on my page. Somebody else have a question? Oh, so then this is another feature that Town Hall has let us do, which means you can see it's sort of small on this screen, but next to Jennifer Patterson's name, there is a small black circle with a sort of, looks like a Greek town hall in there. because she is a constituent of the person whose post she's commenting on. So now, once people give us their addresses, when they comment on a post of their elected representative, we tell their elected representative and everyone else that they're a constituent. So this is really powerful if you're an elected representative because it lets you ignore trolls. Never live in the district, right? Almost never, right? That is very rare. Mostly they tend to be from out of district. And so it lets you see that they're from out of district and ignore them. And it also lets you direct your comment replies to people who are actually your voters. The other great thing about this, if you work on the activism side of politics, is that this gives constituents a much more powerful voice, right? If you're rallying constituents to post on their elected officials page about something or a policy you're trying to get passed, if they post on the page and they have that constituent badge and their elected official then ignores them, that looks a lot worse, right? We've given constituents a much more sort of powerful voice. Yes, sir?
And the elected officials blocking.
So an elected official can block you from their page overall. No.
They can't block my comment.
Well, they can block you from their page overall. Right. Yeah. Although we see that happening less and less now. But that's a good thing to raise a fuss about, right? Like if your elected official is blocking you, you're their constituent, and they're not letting you engage with them on the platform, that seems like a great opportunity to raise a free speech fuss.
What was the final straw? What was the final straw that caused her to go black?
So another tool I want to talk about is Facebook Live. You can now go live from any Facebook mobile phone and any app, any Facebook app. And when you go live, we send out a notification to all of your engaged fans. So we actively drive people to your live video. But on top of us sending out that notification, there's just something really exciting about live. When people don't know what's going to happen, they watch live videos 3 times longer than regular videos, and they comment 10 times as much. So a live video is a really great way for you to get out your perspective on any of the issues that are going on without having to go through any sort of media filter or varnish, right? This is your chance to talk directly to the people that you are organizing or representing. Going live is incredibly easy if you've never done it. You just pull out your phone, you hit publish, you select this live video button, then you get a preview screen, you can check and make sure your tie is straight, make sure your hair looks good, type in a caption. Then you hit that go live button in the bottom right-hand corner, and that's it. You're live. You can see comments come in. You can see reactions floating across the screen. You can have a conversation with people who are asking you questions in the comment section. It's a really great way to sort of organize people, and it's an entirely free feature. Think about this sort of like a teletown hall, right? How many of you have sort of paid to set up a teletown hall before? This is a way to do that with video for free. Because you can answer questions that are coming in real time in the comments. Yeah.
So does Facebook delete that video when it's done, or do they archive and save it?
So when you're done going live, you're given 2 options. You can either upload your live video as a regular live video on your page, or you can delete it. So it's entirely up to you. If you said something that you wish you hadn't said, great opportunity to delete it. But if you thought it was a really great video, you upload it as a regular video on your feed, and then people can continue to watch that video. Yes,
Can people watching save it if you said something you wish you hadn't said?
Well, you were live, right? So, like, as in anything, it's not. It doesn't disappear from consciousness, but it does disappear from.
But I've never used the app, so I don't know.
Oh yeah,
so
sorry.
people
Yeah.
can
So
record
obviously,
things
if you said something while you were live, anyone who was watching live would have heard, right? But you can then delete the app. Oh, and people who are watching cannot save your video. No, sorry, I didn't know this question yet. You can't save another person's video anywhere on Facebook. You can't download another person's video. Yeah. So some ideas of when to use live. We talked a little bit here, but I think it's awesome to do a Q&A, like a town hall type moment with live. And it's also a really exciting way to break news, right? If a bill is just passed that you were really excited about, or a bill just passed that you're really pissed about, pull out your phone, go live, and tell your supporters why they should be angry or why they should be excited. It's an awesome way to reach people immediately for free and without any sort of media varnish on it. So I think that's one of the ways it's a really exciting tool in the activism space. So now I want to touch on content strategy. Ultimately, what makes a great Facebook page is great content. Great content is authentic, it's interactive, it's timely, and it's frequent and varied, and we'll go through each one. So great content is authentic, right? You want your Facebook page or your Facebook presence, whether you represent an organization or a person, to feel real. You want it to have a voice, and you don't want it to just be a lot of dry policy all of the time. So it's important that you sort of show the people behind the page, right? If you've stayed up all night working to pass a bill, that's a great moment to sort of take people behind the scenes and show them what you're doing. If you have an organization, don't be afraid to show us your people. The American Enterprise Institute every year goes live from a softball game that they play. They show us the people behind the organization, right? They make it a place where you feel connected to people, not just policies. So I think that that's all really important. Just doing these candid photos. If you're comfortable, show us your family. Give us sort of justifications for why you believe what you believe, why you know. This is a great 4th of July moment, right? What does America mean to me? Oh, there we go, we're back. But the point is, you really want your page to feel personal. People care about people, not organizations, right? Just that's psychologically proven. So if you want to come and talk to me about tax reform, right? If tax reform is what you really care about here in California, I've got to care about you first before I'm going to want to listen to you talk about tax reform. So if I know who you are and why you believe what you believe, and if I care about you and you have an adorable family and I've seen your dog on Facebook, when you come to me 3 weeks later, when I've seen 7 or 8 posts of you looking like a really engaging, real person who it seems like I care about, when you come to me to talk about tax policy, I'm going to be way more willing to listen than if you come to me with that first. So you really want to make sure that no matter how policy-oriented you are, that you have this personal touch on your Facebook page. So this is a live Q&A that one of my favorite state reps from Texas, Rep. Jason Isaac, is doing here about the bathroom bill and also other charter school reform in the state of Texas. You can see he's just going live. He's got a phone up on a tripod. He's reading the questions that are coming in on his iPad, and he's just answering the questions that people are asking right there. It's so interactive, and people see that he really cares, and he gets this opportunity to sort of get his perspective out. To you. So we'll go to the next slide. But another really easy way to be interactive is reply to comments. And this is also a way to clean up your comment section. We've done a lot of research into what trolling looks like on Facebook, and this will shock none of you, but trolls have the same psychological profile as 12-year-old boys. They hate to be ignored, right? So if people are posting nice comments on your Facebook posts, or they're asking you constructive questions, you want to reply to that. You want to ignore the trolls and ignore the negative comments. You don't gain anything by engaging with them, but if you are engaging with the people who are being nice and constructive and ignoring the negative people, they see that they're being ignored and they tend to go away. So replying to comments is really powerful. The other thing is, we talked about earlier, yes, Dan?
I'm sorry for being
no, it's okay.
so disruptive here. This is really interesting. 2 kind of related questions here. I've heard that women on social media get attacked more often.
Yes, that's true.
So then I see somebody like Dana Lash, and she's attacked constantly. And oftentimes she's saying, her response to somebody who's being really vicious and vulgar is sort of I wish you the best. Some sort of response like that.
So, and I think that that's okay, and it depends on the person, right? So I worked for Carly Fiorina, who's a female candidate who got attacked from people way on the left all the time on Facebook, right? And in a very gendered way. And people have different philosophies with that. Some people want to sort of moderate that comment section, ignore the trolls, just reply to the nice people. That was sort of our Carly philosophy. I think the Dana Loesch philosophy works too. The other sort of philosophy here is the Greg Abbott philosophy. So Governor Abbott doesn't moderate his comment section at all. He just leaves it. He doesn't care what people say, because when people post really nasty negative things, and people do, and they make wheelchair jokes, right? They post like these terrible, terrible comments on his page, but that rallies up his supporters, right? They get really angry and really rallied about that, and he doesn't have to reply to them because they replied for him. So I think it depends on sort of, A, I think it's whatever you're comfortable with. B, I think the more local you get, the harder it is to sort of just let the negative comments fly, right? I think that that's much harder if these people are neighbors or friends or things like that. But everybody has a different philosophy, and Governor Abbott's philosophy works really well for him. Like I said, when I worked for Carly, we moderated some comments, but we sort of tried to keep it to a minimum. Everybody does sort of what's comfortable for them, and I think that there are good ways to do it sort of across the board. You just have to find your level of comfort with those comments.
She cares. So she can.
So, or concealed carry, you know. So another thing that's really important is timely content. People ask me all the time, when should I post on Facebook, right? Like I've heard that like Sunday at 9 p.m. is gonna get me the most number of likes.
Right.
I'm seeing someone nodding. So that's actually not true. There is no specific time that is going to get you sort of the most engagement on Facebook. The one exception to that rule is if people are already talking about something on Facebook, right? If it is March for Life weekend, that is the weekend that you want to post your pro-life story, right? You don't want to post it a month later. Facebook serves up more content to people who are already talking about a topic. So if people are talking about a topic in your area where you live, that's when you want to talk about it. Plug into conversations that are already happening. My actual favorite example of this is there's a state rep in Washington State, and they were a couple of months ago considering a higher tax on alcohol in the state. And it was National Margarita Day. So I'm in Washington State with these state reps, and all my friends are in DC drinking margaritas, and I'm very jealous that I'm not there. And everyone is posting photos, right? Across social media, people are posting photos of them drinking margaritas. This state rep posts a photo of a margarita, and he says, hope everyone's enjoying National Margarita Day this year. Next year, your margaritas are all going to be $2 more expensive because of this tax that the State House is considering. And his post got a ton of engagement because Facebook served it up to all of these kids who were drinking margaritas on National Margarita Day who had no idea that their margaritas were about to be $3 more expensive. He managed to tie it into a thing people were already talking about. So as much as you can plug into conversations that are already happening, that's a really great tool.
Eva, I'm going to be rude again and jump in here.
Yeah.
I'm sure many of you already have Facebook pages and do well. Some of you, maybe you don't. We're going to follow up with Eva to tell you how we can help you do exactly what she's talking about. So if you're sitting here thinking, I don't know if I can do all of this, stay here. We can help you.
Do that and come to CPAC and talk to us there too. So this is the most boring thing I have to say, so I'll apologize in advance, but it is also the most important thing I have to say. It is really critical that you post regularly on Facebook. People get in a habit of engaging with your Facebook content. If they fall out of that habit, they stop seeing your content. There is a massive difference in the performance of pages that post at least once a day and those that post less than once a day. So it's really important that you're posting at least once a day on the platform. And the other thing is mix it up. Don't fall into a habit of just posting photos and links to local news articles. Try some live video, try some other video. Just make sure that you sort of mix up your content. Because the other thing about the way the Facebook algorithm works is that Facebook serves people content that it knows they're likely to engage with. So I really like videos. Almost every time I see a video in my newsfeed, I stop scrolling and I watch it for about 10 seconds. My roommate is a print journalist, and so he really likes clicking through on links. We have about the same interests. But if you look at our newsfeed side by side, they look very different. Mine is full of videos and his is full of click-through links. So if it's Education Reform Week and you want to talk to me about charter schools, in that week you would have wanted to post both a video about charter schools and a link to a news article about charter schools if you were looking to reach both me and my roommate. So you've got to mix it up. And then lastly, we've got some resources for you here. Politics.fb.com is a microsite that has a lot of the tips that I gave you here today, so you can go check that out and we'll walk you through a lot of the steps of what we talked about here. Facebook.com/GOVTpolitics is just a regular Facebook page that my global team maintains, and on it we post what we think are best of examples of government and politics and advocacy content from around the world. So it's a great place to go to get inspiration and ideas for what you want to do on your own page. This one's really important. fb.me/securitycheckup. All of you should go to this link and it will tell you how strong your password is. It will walk you through setting up two-factor authentication on your Facebook profile. It will show you all of the browsers in which you are currently logged into your Facebook account. You want to go here, you all want to turn on two-factor authentication. You want to make sure you log out of any browsers you don't use regularly, and you want to make sure you have a strong password. Right, this is going to prevent 99% of hacking attempts on all your profiles. And if any of you manage a page that has a bunch of profile admins, you want to make sure that all of the admins on that page go to this link as well and make sure that they are safe and secure so nobody can hack their accounts. And the last one is gov@fb.com. That's an email address that will get you to me and my operations team. And so if you have any problems with your page, if you want to get a page verified, if something breaks on the platform, sometimes we let interns play with Facebook if things break, let us know. Shoot us an email here and we'll be able to help you out. Carly, do we have any time for questions? So I think we have a few minutes for questions if you've got them. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand you work with the American Conservative Union, or?
I work for Facebook, but we partner frequently with the American Conservative.
Okay, well, my issue is there's friends of mine and conservatives in general I have been reported against, blocked repeatedly for posts that are not in any way violating community standards. This is becoming outrageous, and it needs to stop. What do we need to start doing? Because I'll get a notice that says this video violates the community standards. We take it down, and I get blocked for 30 days. This is happening to me. It's happening to other conservatives in LA County, and it's got to stop. And the first thing I do is I'll report this is a mistake, and then nothing. I'm blocked for 30 days. It is outrageous. These trolls have gone beyond writing nasty comments. Now what they do is they just report a post and use it as a way to shut an account down.
So the number of reports shouldn't affect whether a post is taken down or not. They're all reviewed by a real person. That being said, we make mistakes. We see over 1 million reports of content every day, and we absolutely do occasionally make a mistake. If something gets taken down again that you don't think should be taken down, that's a great opportunity to email us at gov@fb.com so we can take a second look at it and make sure that, if it isn't something that violates our community standards, then it absolutely should be allowed.
But the thing is, it's like people are distorting and misusing it. And I've reported stuff that has said like slanders things about me or others. I mean, this is something this to me cannot possibly be something that's a surprise to people in this room.
So there's a breakdown, so I don't know what role you hold in California public life, but there is a difference about what people can say on Facebook about public figures and private individuals. The rules are pretty strict about what you can say about, you're not allowed to bully private individuals, and if you look at our community standards, they're online, it walks you through what bullying is. But if you do hold elected office or are a public figure, the range of things that people are allowed to say about you on our platform that we will leave up is much wider. As you would understand, we don't want to limit critique of public figures. So there is a divide. Like I said, I don't know what role you hold in.
Your office is in Palo Alto then, or you work there up in the Bay Area? Is that?
I work in Washington.
Okay, but you work for Zuckerberg, essentially.
I mean, yes, 17 levels of command down.
Well, this is really getting out of. We got Marco Gutierrez, for example, who's been blocked multiple times just for reporting on a homeless person. We have cut and snipped this. This is really serious. I want to talk to you afterwards.
Yeah, no, and absolutely.
Yeah.
These are examples that you should, like I said, email us here. We take this very seriously. We don't want to take down content that's not against our community standards. So those are things that you should. If we make a mistake, we want to know about it.
Okay.
It's going to make us better to figure it out and fix our systems moving forward. So that's absolutely a thing to email me about. Yes, Dan.
You mentioned someone's a public figure.
Yeah.
So before you joined Facebook, of course, you were working for a Republican presidential candidate.
That's correct.
So kind of putting that hat on, what were your strategies working for a Republican when there were nasty comments? Would you report those? What was your strategy?
Yeah, so we would report comments that we thought were hate speech, right? But beyond that, not really, because we wanted, Carly was a massive free speech candidate, and she really wanted people to be able to have a conversation, within limitations. But I think that a lot of our strategy was we wanted to get her name and her face out there as much as possible. I think that there's sort of this crazy conservative demonization that can sometimes exist. So for us, it was important to just get Carly. Facebook was such a valuable platform for us because for free, we could get Carly doing just these 1-minute direct-to-camera videos talking about her stances on the issues and push those out every couple of hours because we really wanted to make it an issue-focused campaign. And we never replied to negative comments. Was sort of our philosophy was we're not going to reward people. What those people are, people who are posting really nasty things, they want to get a rise out of you, right? That's their version of a win. We didn't want to give them anything, right? We wanted it to be a complete and total waste of their time. So what we would do is we would be careful to respond to one nice comment on every post, and here's the reason why. So on Facebook newsfeed, when you see posts scrolling through newsfeed, all you see is one comment. On newsfeed, we just show the top comment underneath the post, and then you have to click through to see more to see the rest of the comments. Now, what normally determines the top comment is the comment with the most number of likes. However, if the page replies to any comment, that comment automatically becomes the top comment. So you can pick the comment that everyone sees. So that was a really important strategy for us. We always wanted to pick either somebody asking a tough but constructive question that we had a good answer to. We wanted people to see that comment, or we wanted to see people to see a comment that was like, "You're awesome, Carly, like keep fighting the good fight," right? So we would always reply to at least one positive or constructive comment on every post and totally ignore the negative comments. That was our strategy. But like I said, different people use different strategies, and it's just what you're comfortable with. Yes, ma'am.
So we live in a very, very blue area, a very, very blue state, and there are people who completely hide. And so I have to ask, working at Facebook on the right side of things, are you and your team complete pariahs? Do you have to enter through a different door, or is everybody pretty nice to you?
No, actually people are, so I work out of the Washington, D.C. office, which is actually very hard. Like, we're about equal. It's about half conservatives, half liberals in the D.C. office. That's obviously not true of the Silicon Valley office. So in the D.C. office, not a thing. Facebook has really made a commitment, I think, in the last few years to ideological diversity. Right, we're building tools for everyone, and so it's important that all perspectives are heard.
I don't think so.
And so I think that that's an important thing that I and the other conservatives on my team build, that bring that conservative value to conversations that were happening, bring that free speech viewpoint as we talk about what our community standards should look like. And so I think that we've worked really hard to actually not hide, but be very, very public about it, because it's really important that that's a perspective that a company that's building products for 2 billion people hears. So I actually think it's kind of the flip of that. We've been very, very open about it, because it's an important perspective to bring to the process. And so I think we're about out of time. We have one more question. Do you mind if we take this one, Carly? Thank you.
You know, I just want to ask, in the section that talks about town hall, I mean, I live in San Francisco, almost 1 million people. There's no link to any school board member. The smallest thing is my supervisor.
So, I'm trying to think, it might be that your school board members don't have Facebook pages.
I find that hard to believe.
But it would, so it will only show you, so it won't show you all school board members, it would only show you your school board member. So.
Well, it's for all of San Francisco. I don't have one for my zip code.
Oh, the school board members, okay, I didn't know how they were constructed. So that might be why. It might be that in the city of San Francisco, because everyone represents, that we only show people who represent them specifically in their geographic area. I'm not 1,000% sure about how our mapping works in San Francisco, so if you want to shoot us an email at GovAt, I'm happy to look into that for you. Because it's,
you fix it.
Just to give you an idea, this was like an extremely enormous data mapping project to map the entire US down to geographical district and then match Facebook pages to that. And we've made mistakes, and you know, sometimes certain things, like maybe if the school board represents all of San Francisco, that doesn't fit into our mapping, but let's take a look, because I want to see what's going on there. Awesome, well thank you guys, and I'll stick around if you have any questions. Thanks guys.